And the starting of the war, Israel, and I'm sorry, I don't use that word in common parlance. I refer to the Zionist, genocidal Zionist state. It began with genocide in 1947. 3 armies, Stern, Haganah, and Irgun, invaded Palestine and made homeless and chased out 800,000 Palestinians who have not been able to come back. And 800,000 out of a population of just a couple of million is a big hunk of people. That's genocide. And it has, the policy itself has a Nazi name. Isn't that what the policy of Lebensraum? Isn't that what Hitler did in Ukraine? Isn't that what Hitler did, well, particularly Ukraine, where he said, well, that should be our territory. We need living room. And so 3 invading armies invaded Palestine and said, we need room. They just adopted Hitler's policy, the Zionists. And
you're not criticizing the Jews, though. Zionism is something different from Judaism.
Zionism has nothing to do with Judaism. Probably 90% of the Zionists in this world are Christians. Large percentage in the United States, that's probably of the Christians in the United States, but also around the world. Many Christians are Zionists.
That's something that was really shocking to me when I learned that the right-wing Christian fundamentalists here in America want to bring about Armageddon because that'll bring the second coming of Christ.
Right.
So they think that by agitating for a Holocaust in the Middle East, that will bring Christ back and it'll destroy the world. And we have to go along with this nonsense.
Well, I have no idea why people associate Zionism with Judaism. They're totally disconnected. There's no, there's been no, there are no Semitic Jews in this world for over 1,000 years. The Semites are all, that's interesting. I was only 13, and I went to the rabbi's assistant. She was doing the training for my bar mitzvah, and I asked her, when we were through with the lesson one day, I said, why do we use the words anti-Semitic to mean anti-Jewish? I mean, anti-Semitic means anti-Arab. I had done a little homework before I had talked with her about it, and I had looked in my parents' 1940 atlas, and I had looked in our 1946 Britannica, and it was pretty clear that there were no Jews who were Semites left in the world. And she gave me some story about, we should not use harsh words like anti-Jewish, so we use the expression anti-Semite or anti-Semitic. And I said, yeah, but we're stealing their ethnicity. And then she explained to me, you'll understand when you get older. And when I got older, I really understood. We Jews and Christians can steal Arabic or Arabian or Muslim ethnicity, we can steal their land, we can steal their oil, because it's our oil, it's our land, right? I mean, we're crazy. Mm-hmm. And what we do has become, in modern times, written law. The laws of genocide, the laws of the Geneva Conventions, and we do it. And the Congress of the United States is to blame, because the president has no guns, the president has no ships, no airplanes, unless Congress gives it to him. And the same is true of Israel. The genocidal Zionist state. It's like learning a new language. You have to retrain yourself to think about it. I mean, if it began in genocide, the occupation is genocidal. The ethnic cleansing goes on every day in the occupied territory, and certainly, I mean, what was his name, the guy from South Africa, the judge, was it Stone? Who wrote the report on the invasion of Gaza?
I don't know.
and he calls himself a Zionist Jew from South Africa. He wrote, Goldstone, I think his name was, wrote the report on, or maybe it was just Stone, that Israel committed war crimes in the invasion of Gaza.
But you were born Jewish, right?
I was born into a Jewish family.
Your parents were both Jewish.
Yeah, I like to think of religion as something it's not in our blood. There is a culture for certain religions, but some of us are born different colors, and nothing we can do about that. But religion is different. There's something we can do about it.
But some people think that if they were born Jewish, or if they're Jewish, they have to support Israel, and they don't see the disconnect there.
I know. It's astounding. And I go to a community Seder, and every year I stand up and I say something truly offensive at the Seder, like, next year Jews out of Palestine, or Israelis out of Palestine. And when everybody is saying next year in Jerusalem, I'm saying next year everybody out of Jerusalem. I think people have to stand away from what they think they're supposed to believe and look at it. Just look at what you believe. Do you believe that we should have troops in Afghanistan? Pull back at it. Look at it. Remember, you look at the little history that goes into this. How did we come to invade Afghanistan? Well, we wanted them to extradite bin Laden. Now, when we wanted the Swiss to extradite Polanski, the Swiss said, send us the evidence, and we'll decide based on that evidence whether he should be extradited. We wouldn't send them the evidence, and so the Swiss said no. On the other hand, in Afghanistan, the Afghanis said, send us the evidence, and we'll make a judgment on whether bin Laden should be extradited or not. And we said, no, we won't send the evidence. Instead, we invaded. Did we invade Switzerland? I doubt it. I mean, I haven't seen any planes, troops invading Switzerland to get hold of Polanski. But bin Laden